when you come from scarcity and you come from fear, then that's what you live into. Always being concerned of, oh, am I going to lose my job? And right now the situation is such that there are a lot of people that have lost their jobs, right? And it takes something to be other than to just see the manifestation of it. So it takes something to be in a state of gratitude and a state of abundance and have that thought process and not look at what is actually existing. Oh my gosh, I don't have a job, or oh my gosh, the bills are coming up and I can't pay them. And that's when it's difficult for us to stay in that abundance conversation and to know that everything's going to work out, because that's what it is. It does work out, but
Hello everyone, it's Suzanne Paul. It is not Friday and it's not 11:30 because I'm actually recording this interview because my friend Patricia, who is joining me today, hi Patricia, is in El Paso, Texas, which is 7 hours behind the United Kingdom. So 11:30 on a Friday morning is really at the crack of dawn for Patricia. So rather than be super unreasonable and ask her to get up in the middle of the night, we actually have taken a moment to record this for you. But we will be making it available on Friday at 11:30. So hello, it's Friday. Hi Patricia, how are you?
Hi Suzanne, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm glad to have you back and back on my Facebook Lives. So on Tuesday, we were talking about honoring your no, knowing what your commitment is and whether something is aligned with your commitment, and if it is, saying yes, and if it isn't, saying no, and being okay with saying no. And we talked about corporate jobs and like the pursuit of money. And we were just, before we came live on air, having a conversation about that. So, Patricia, what would you like to share with the audience about pursuing money? How about that?
Yes. So, first of all, thank you for having me back. I'm glad to be here. Pleasure. And the whole money conversation is so juicy because we've grown up with a view of money. At least like from a cultural perspective, from a religious perspective, it just depends, right? Like the conversations that you traffic in. And for me, it was like, oh, money's the root of all evil. And, people that have a lot of money are not good people, and all these conversations around it, right? And also from my family, it was, once you find a job, never leave. As long as you get good pay and have insurance, don't ever leave. And there was a fear conversation, a scarcity conversation, and then it made my pursuit of money be all about the keeping up with the Joneses, right? And I don't want to continue down the path of not having money, because when we were young, we didn't have very many means. So I wanted to break out of that. And then it all became about getting money, having money, or even if I didn't have it, having credit cards that make me look like I had money and buying things that I couldn't afford, right? But it was a conversation from my youth and from my young adulthood, from my childhood, around the whole money aspect. And also the whole work of the concept about work, that work is work and it's hard and it sucks. And that's just what it is, right? That you can't have something that you love and get paid for it. And I believe we were talking a little bit about that last time.
We were.
That you can have something that you love and still get paid for it. And that there's nothing wrong in having money. I mean, there's abundance everywhere. And if you change the context about the abundance and that it's a good thing and that it's helpful to you and you can utilize it to pursue any goal that you have, or you can use it to contribute to things that are important to you. So it's a contextual conversation around money.
Yeah, see, that's really a great thing. I haven't got my background on today. Normally I would have my background of my woman character and the swirl in the middle. And the thing that I can really hear in what you're saying, you brought up money as like the scarcity conversation about money. And then, you know, turning that on its head and fulfilling your purpose in the world and like seeking to make a difference and be soul satisfied in what it is that we do and the service that we provide, and then finding that actually that is a way to generate money. And I think that is that's a really amazing thing that you've just said, and it's a theme that's been running through the conversations that I've had on Facebook over the last few weeks, which is that actually it's almost like there's a greater ability to generate abundance and wealth and money when we're operating in pursuit of what it is that we know that we're here for, in that, and I don't want to use the word spiritual, but like purpose driven, kind of making a difference, being of service to others kind of a way. The rewards for that are actually greater than the kind of quote unquote working for the man. Whereas, you know, when we were growing up, our parents were like, you've got to get a good job, you've got to go to university, you've got to get a good job, like get professionally qualified, and then like stay in that job for the rest of your life for like 40, 50, however many years it is. And now, like, as we are aging, like retirement is getting later and later and later. And yeah, so yeah, well, I just think that's great. So what's there to say about that, really?
It's the abundance conversation, right? And it's a fear conversation. When you come from scarcity and you come from fear, then that's what you live into. Always being concerned of, oh, am I going to lose my job? And right now the situation is such that there are a lot of people that have lost their jobs, right? Yeah. And it takes something to be other than to just see the manifestation of it. So it takes something to be in a state of gratitude and a state of abundance and have that thought process and not look at what is actually existing. Oh my gosh, I don't have a job, or oh my gosh, the bills are coming up and I can't pay them. And that's when it's difficult for us to stay in that abundance conversation and to know that everything's going to work out, because that's what it is. It does work out, but it takes.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the other day that you and I, we talk quite often, really, you and I, and at the tail end of last year, oh my gosh, financially it was like so scary for me. I was like, really, I just don't know how I'm going to pay the bills, and I got really, like, it put me in a bad mood. I wasn't sleeping well. I was grouchy with people. I was difficult and whiny, but I was like, I know that what I am doing is what I'm meant to do. And try as as uncomfortable as it is, I'm not giving up. I'm not getting a job. I can get a job really easily. Like, it's not a problem. But I'm like, no. I'm sticking to my guns. And it was only because I stuck to my guns, like hung on, and it was like almost like it was like being on the cliff edge, like holding on for dear life, like in a disaster movie. But it was only through pushing through that whole fear experience that then on the other side I can start to experience what I'm experiencing now, which is things are moving. They're not, like, I wouldn't say I'm not taking it for granted. Definitely not. I'm appreciative and inspired, but it was like when there was fear present, it was really like a wall. So yeah, say more about that.
Yeah, so it's also knowing that we can reach out to others and have a support structure when we're in that process of fear, right? Because if you think that you have to go at it alone, you really don't. There are support structures that you can have around to get you out of that mindset. Like I have a group of people around me that I call when I'm stuck in that type of mentality, because they're kind of gonna slap me around and say, okay, where is this coming from? And, we're all powerful manifestors, even if we don't believe it, we all are. And it's just having that structure of supporting the people that you can talk to tell you, you got this. And I know the true you, and I know the manifestor you, and just bring you back to your power. It's just a loss of power. When you're in fear and the scarcity conversations, it's a loss of power. And it,
go
yeah.
on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So what would you say that loss of power is, like, more than anything?
It's doubt, right? It's doubt because you start down that hole, that dark corridor in your mind that, remember when this happened? Yeah, it's probably going to be like this.
The whole what if conversation. Oh my God.
Yes.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, because it's completely that. Oh, and remember when this, and then you lost your job, and then you ran out of unemployment, and then you couldn't do this, and remember how that was and how awful that was. And that's your brain. It's just a brain, right? It's the neural pathway saying, this was the experiences, this was the experience, and this is the emotion that I associated to it. Remember, so it doesn't happen again, kind of thing. And it takes something to get out of that and say, okay, yeah, that was a past experience, but I say how my life goes. And having that conversation with somebody else to bring you back to that and remind you and put those scary thoughts away or process them to disappear them.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I can hear in what you're saying there, Patricia, is like that. So that whole kind of what if, or remember when, or, you know, like all those kind of, yeah, they're like anxiety. It's like an anxiety loop that we find ourselves in, right? It's like, it's there to protect us, because like it doesn't protect us, because actually it's really quite damaging, but it's like it's dressed up as protecting us from like what we perceive as danger in terms of like fight or flight, not being able to eat, not having a place, like, you know, having a roof over your head, like that, all of those things. So it has a protection mechanism, but the thing is that we are more powerful than we have any idea. Like, you know, you and I both know that we're powerful people, right? And, you know, we have all the blah, blah thoughts that go on in our heads, but we do know that we're powerful. And the thing that always surprises me is that as powerful as I know that you and I are, I'm always surprised by the power. Like, there's always more than I realize. And that is a little bit unnerving. It's like the opposite of the fear that stops us, because it's a little bit like, whoa, can I actually handle this? Like, I'm now plugged into the matrix. I'm now plugged into and I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that. But then it's like, but then that's when, like, having all your values in alignment and your purpose be clear and your commitment be clear, it's like, just keep going.
Yes.
This is the road.
Yes.
And that's when, as you say, things really start to manifest themselves. So yeah.
And it's that moment, right, when those thoughts come up. Maybe it's a point for you to reassess. Oh, why am I feeling this way, right? Where is the fear coming from? Is it really a fear that I can't do it, or is it really that I don't want to do this and I'm not pursuing this? What people know when they're in the wrong job. People know when you get up in the morning and you cry before you go to work, that's probably not a good thing, and you probably shouldn't be there. But you just persist and you go through, right? But if you really sit there and think, okay, so what is it that's really driving me to stay here, even though I hate it? It's all a fear conversation. I'm not going to find a better job. I'm never going to get paid what I'm getting paid here. And that keeps you trapped.
Yeah. So then the question is, well, how do you get out of the trap? But the trap, that conversation comes back to what we were talking about again the other day, and what we've been talking about this whole time. You've got to get yourself in alignment. You've got to work out what it is that, like, what is it that you see for your life? What is it that you want for your life? Like, what's the direction that you want to head in? And then are you, like, what's your true north in a way? And like right now, are you pointing true north? Are you pointing like northwest or northeast? Or really, are you going actually south? And it's like totally in the wrong direction. And that's really great. I just noticed it is 11:44. Time goes really fast when you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Even though it's not 11:44 as we're recording this, I do know it is 11:44 for you guys. You know that in Suzanne Pool's world, we honor the time. So I'm just going to say, have a lovely weekend. Thank you for joining us, Patricia.
Thank you, Suzanne. I
We
appreciate
will be
it.
back next week. So join me and join Patricia and I next week at 4:30 UK time on Tuesday and 11:30 on Friday, because she'll be back. And then again, we'll be bringing someone else in the week after. You've got a lot to look forward to. I'm Suzanne Paul. Thank you, Patricia. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, Suzanne. You as well.
And we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.
Sounds good.